Hey guys, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel. Today I have 3 recipes that I have recently made for my family. They are all new to us and we loved all of them. So I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration if you were stuck in a rut on what to cook for dinner. And let's get started. The first one I'm going to be making for you is an Italian sausage pasta for the Crockpot, and my family talked about this for days after, so I highly recommend this one. I cannot wait to make it again. But first, I am using my last package of Italian sausage. I don't know about y'all, but every time Kroger has those digital deals, the coupons or whatever, I always get all 5 and then just stock up. And recently, if you don't know, at least around where I live, it was sausage. Anyways, you're going to just brown the sausage up, throw in some onion. I use half an onion. The recipe says a whole one, but I always cut half of an onion up because it seems like a lot. And then I will dice the other half up, put it in the fridge for the next recipe, like right here. And then once you have cooked that up a little bit, you're going to throw in a little bit of minced garlic and cook it all until the sausage is completely done. Now once I have my meat all cooked, I am going to be putting it into the crock pot, and I forgot to drain it, and so I know I've seen many YouTubers do this little paper towel trick, and I like to use it for work times like this. You just rub it around in there with a spoon and it gets up a whole lot of the grease. And once that is up, I'm going to start assembling everything else. And once you are done with that or have already drained yours, you're going to throw in or pour in a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. It doesn't have to be the Italian style. It just happened to be the only one that I had. I still put all the seasonings in it, all that good stuff. It also called for chicken broth, but I used beef broth with 2 cups of that. And then I believe this marinara came from Aldi's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the whole jar of that, and I thought how next time I will pour the marinara in there and then pour my broth into the jar and kind of swish it around and try to get all that stuff up because I didn't want to put too much liquid in here, you know, with it being a pasta dish. Anyways, then I threw in some kosher salt, parsley, and oregano, and you're gonna stir all of that up and cook it on low for 6 hours. And once it is done cooking, you're going to use any kind of small pasta of your choice. Honestly, I highly recommend the elbow macaroni. This was really good. Or you could use ziti. Just the recipe says not to use spaghetti. I mean, I guess that's kind of a given. I don't know how that would work in this, but a small pasta, preferably. You're going to pour the whole thing in there and give it a good stir. And also, I had cut the broth short. I was supposed to put in 2.5 cups, but I put in 2 because it said that you could put half a cup of whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, instead of half of the cup of broth. Well, almost forgot about it. You'll see I have to open it back up. But I did end up putting in a half a cup of the heavy whipping cream, and it was so good. I mean, I'm sure it's good without it, but it was so creamy and everything. So, just raving on it. But once you were done with your whipping cream and you've got everything, like this, you're going to cover it and you're going to crank it up to high for 30 minutes. And about halfway through, I took it off and put on the mozzarella cheese, mainly because I just kind of wanted to make sure, like, it was the water to pasta ratio. I got it right. I didn't want to I couldn't really tell if the cheese was on it. So about halfway through I did. And it was right at 30 minutes. And it was perfectly done. I mean, the noodles were al dente and it was just very good. This was like I said, a really big winner in my family, and the kids, like, the next day were talking about this dinner. So highly recommend it. It is messy, but it is delicious. And next I'm going to be making a version of Navajo Tacos. I have never heard of these before. I recently saw, I believe, the She's in Her Apron channel make those, and it blew my mind. I was like, I have to try this. And this is just a version I found where you can use Grands Biscuits. I had them on hand, done, you know. I love a good recipe, and I'm like, hey, I've got everything for that. Anyways, so I am browning up my taco meat. Well, yeah, ground beef. You can use ground turkey, whatever you want. And then to a saucepan, I put a little bit of olive oil, and I've got half of an onion diced up with some minced garlic, and I like mine pretty caramelized, so I cook those up pretty good. And then I'm going to pour in my black beans with that and a little bit of seasoning. You'll see, I was just kind of amping up my black beans for a topping. So once my hamburger meat was drained, I put a little bit of water in it and about a packet's worth of taco seasoning, and I mix it up really well and let it kind of cook out. I don't know I think the packet says to do that, but I used to not do this, so it makes it taste so much better. And you could really use like whatever. You could put a little bit of chili powder, cumin, onion powder, taco seasoning. You know, you could do anything like that. These black beans. But I had some of that, everything but the ayote. I don't know, something like that, and from Trader Joe's. And I hardly ever use it, so I wanted to give that a shot, and it gave it some really good flavor. So now I am getting ready to deep fry the biscuits, and my family loves peanut oil. So while that is getting hot, I am going to, I started out just kind of trying to stretch these with my hand, but it was so much easier when I put it on the counter to just kind of smash it down. But you just want to kind of get them pretty flat. And you also want to kind of make a slit in the middle of them, just kind of so it'll help them from bubbling up too much in the oil. And these were just the toppings I had on hand. Of course, you can use lettuce, tomato, all that stuff. I just didn't have any, but I did have a couple avocados and some cheese. So that is what we went with, as well as sour cream. And once you have tested your oil, which I always do a little water test, but I also did this to make sure, you are going to put a couple in there, 2 to 3 at a time. You don't want to put too much because it will cool down the oil and it won't cook evenly. And it was right at about 2 minutes on each side. You'll notice once it is golden brown and they're completely done. And if you've never had a deep fried biscuit, you need to at least try that. All right, now I'm going to assemble everything. I don't know if like you could if there are certain doughs where it's bigger and you can possibly pick it up like a taco, but we just ate it like this with all the toppings on it and ate it with a fork, and it was delicious. And just one of them with all the toppings and stuff on it was really filling also. And now I'm going to be making some coconut drumsticks in the slow cooker. And I forgot we had actually tried these like a year ago or so. I'm pretty sure at the beginning I said these were all new, but no, we had done this one time. And I love using this little tool when I don't really feel like chopping and it gets the onions really small. Also, I would have cut that onion in half and not put that much onion in it, but that's just for me. And to go in it, I don't remember how many chicken legs I had, 6 to 8, a little bit of fish sauce, soy sauce, some sriracha, coconut milk, cilantro, and basil. The recipe, I think it called for sweet chili sauce. Yes, and I didn't have any, or I couldn't find it at the time, so that's why I put a little bit of extra sriracha and some fish sauce too. I just kind of eyeballed it. I'm going to try to put in the comments exactly how much, but you can kind of tell. But it was like a couple tablespoons of the sriracha, like I said, a little bit too much onion, a whole can of the coconut milk, as you will see here, a little bit of, not very much of the fish sauce. That stuff is pretty powerful. You never really need too much. And a little bit of soy sauce as well. And also I would recommend, I don't know what I was thinking, like mixing all that in a dish separately and then pouring it on top. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. So, I mean, it didn't really change much of the flavor, you know. I just feel like it would have, there were like a couple spots you might be able to see at the end where it looked a little bit clumpy. You know what I'm talking about. But overall, this was really, really good, and it didn't taste as oniony as I thought it was going to. I was a little bit concerned about that. So as you can see here, those drumsticks are just about to fall off the bone. The flavor is so good. I personally just love anything with coconut milk in it, like curry and all that kind of stuff. Love, love, love it. And for the side, I just made a little packet of that yellow saffron rice, and that was dinner. I hope you got some inspiration from this video, and I'll see you next time.